Hi there, welcome to iTWire TV. Today we're speaking with Dan Park, Sales Engineering Manager for Australia and New Zealand for Zebra Technologies. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Thanks, David. Nice to be here.
Thank you. And I understand you're going to tell us about Workforce Connect, and so I'm really keen to understand, can you tell us a little bit about what the Workforce Connect software does and what industries you can use it in and, the benefits and, tell me about it.
Okay, look, it's probably best to tell you as I go along and demonstrate it, but I'll give you an overview. Workforce Connect is our collaboration communication tool from Zebra Technologies, which runs on mobile computers, and it really covers voice over IP, so basically an extension of a PBX system with full telephony. That's called Workforce Connect Voice. PTT Pro, which is it's like a two-way radio. It's push-to-talk functionality. And it's really for collaboration. So you may have a store associate on the floor when a customer comes up and asks a question. Generally most workers would have a mobile computer, generally a Zebra one. They could potentially, do a communication push a talk call with somebody in the back of the store to get some information, etc. There's also messaging, group messaging. And there's also this profile manager functionality, which really allows you to log in under a different use case every day. And the main industries are, the industries that Zebra really leads in is retail, transport and logistics, healthcare, manufacturing, and there's a few others. And Workforce Connect really sits into a lot of these industries. Retail is an obvious one because that use case I just said, everyone's walking around with a mobile computer with a barcode scanner in it. And so it's a prime use case to collaborate with your co-workers, share information. It allows you to stay with a customer longer. So in that use case I just mentioned, if a customer asks a question, you don't walk away and leave them. You stay with them and you ask the question of someone who can give you the answer. So, that's a simple concept there. But transport, logistics, and healthcare, definitely a lot of use cases there. We have quite a few customers in those industries as well using Workforce Connect.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess can Workforce, you talked about specific customers and industries, but is there any size of business best suited for Workforce Connect, or, is there a company that's too small or a company too large?
No, there's no real limits in that way. You could have a group of 4 people. If anything that's going to improve that communication, it's going to work. And particularly PTT Pro, the push-to-talk function, which is probably what I'm going to focus on today. It's just a client that sits on a Zebra device or an Apple device or an Android device or Windows. It can be anything. It is a Zebra product, and Zebra devices obviously work well with it. If that device can hit the internet, then it can collaborate with the other devices. So there's no real limit. And of course, we scale very well. So we've got some very large customers, particularly in retail, really large customers who are using these tools.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we're able to see it in action. Let's have a look.
Let's have a go. All right, let's see how technology works for us. So I've got 2 devices casting behind me. One device is here. The other device is sitting in front of me. So if you can see it there. So TC26 and a TC56. Now, let's take a day in the life of a worker. In fact, let's have 2 use cases. So the TC26 is going to be someone in the retail store. They will have a little headset. So this will sit over their ear. So it's, when someone's making a call, not all the customers are hearing all the conversation. You want it to be private. So it sits on the ear, and the push-to-talk button will sit on their lapel somewhere. So they basically push that button to communicate. You've probably seen that kind of scenario on two-way radios. The other use case, let's say he's a transport driver. He's driving some shipment to the retail store. Generally, you don't touch a screen when you're driving a vehicle. So in this case, we've got a Bluetooth remote speaker mic paired to that device, and he can use that to speak to to communicate. So the first step would be to log in for today. So you can see the TC26. It says click to log in. So I'm going to click the screen, and then I get my ID badge, which has my barcode on the back. So you basically just log in with your Active Directory. And this is the profile manager, which allows you to choose a different profile for the day. So you don't have to be fixed in, the device, it hasn't got a fixed extension, etc. You can choose, and every day you can start fresh. So choose electronics. So today he's going to work in the electronics department. His name's Grimlock, if you can see at the top of the screen. I've got Grimlock there. I don't know why he's called Grimlock. Don't ask me that one. And on the other side, we've got a TC56, and that's Bumblebee. So you can see the TC26 Grimlock's just logging in for the day. We've chosen the profile that he wants to use, and you can see there's two apps at which I mentioned, Workforce Connect Voice, and I'll quickly just show you what that looks like, even though I won't focus too much on it. So I'm just going to click that screen there, and it'll show you the PBX kind of extension functionality if this update's quick enough. It's slowing down. I can see it on my screen, so maybe I'll just show you in front. I don't know why it's slowing down, but you can see if I hold it up. Oh, it's caught up to me. It's caught up. Okay, so it's basically as you would imagine any telephone or PBX extension. It's full duplex conversation. You can put someone on hold. You can have a conference call. All the stuff that everyone knows when they use a phone, or a fixed phone. So the functionality is kind of self-explanatory. It's the push to talk, which is probably has got some more nuances. So I want to focus on that. But so that's what the voice looks like, the voice solution. And there's a little button down the bottom there on the screen, that little yellow button. That'll take, it's probably a bit blurry for you, but that's the push to talk. So that will jump directly towards the PTT app, which again, it's a bit slow. I've already jumped there, but my screen's going to take a while to catch up for some reason. So you can see, and they actually play very well together. So if you're on a voice call, you can have it so the PTT does not interrupt, or you can have priorities. So, the two parts of that solution play hand in hand, so to speak. Okay, so you've logged on for the day. You've got your TC26, you've got your TC56 in the vehicle. Now, there's a few use cases I'd probably want to just, demonstrate, and that'll kind of help you understand how it all works. So the simplest one is doing a one-to-one call, and I believe you've got a device, one of my devices with you. You're logged in. So I think you're Devastator, which is the second one on the list here. There it is. Okay. So look, I could do a call for you. I'll just push the button, just make sure it beeps. If we do talk too long, it'll probably feedback. But the idea is I will choose you. So I've chosen one person, and then I'll hit the push to talk button. I mean, we actually have multiple options for the button. We've got fixed buttons on the side, dedicated push to talk buttons. There's a on-screen button, and I've also, in this instance, I've got a headset, so I can push that button, push and hold, and hopefully something comes through to you.
Yes.
Come through. Okay, and I can. I'll let it go. Otherwise, we'll get the feedback. So you can see we're in a call now. I will leave that call so we don't get too much noise. So that's one-to-one. Okay. Now another scenario is one-to-one, but for example, the guy in the truck driving along, he wants to talk to someone in the retail store. Say he wants to speak to Grimlock, this guy here. But you can't touch the screen because he's driving. We've set up a default callee for this person. So even though no one has been selected, if I just push the remote speaker mic, it's going to initiate the call 123 123, and you can't hear it now. It's coming through the speaker here. So I've initiated a one-to-one two-way radio call, but with a default callee, so not touching the screen. So and I can push back and 123 123, and basically have a two-way conversation. Right. So that's the second scenario. There's other ways. So you can see, you've got a traditional two-way radio. It's kind of fixed in who you talk to, and there's channels, and you kind of choose the channel, and that's it. Here, if we look at the Grimlock again, I can just choose randomly the people I want to speak to. So as I touch the screen, they highlight. I can also create a new group on the fly. So I can say, okay, Bumblebee and Devastator, I'll highlight them both. I'll click and hold and just make a group for them because I'm going to use them ongoing. So it says create a group. I'll hit create group.
Yes.
And it gives me an option saying I can do a personal group. Actually, it says see it behind me. Personal group or a member group. And a personal group means only I will have the group. A member group means anyone in that group will also see that group option to choose from. So, you can do anything on the fly. And that's the beauty of Workforce Connect. You can configure this in 100 different ways. You can, we've got the default screen being the contact list. It doesn't have to be that. It can be anything. So, many, many options available. All right. So I was talking about groups. So let's go to the group tab at the bottom. It's that tab next to the blue one. Yes. Now these are you can see predefined groups. when I chose that profile, and when you logged in, you chose the profile, certain groups automatically are populated for you. Now, again, I can add to those groups, as I just showed you. I can make my own group on the fly, but it's basically a way of, quickly having a talk group without choosing it yourself. And you can see I'm connecting to multiple people, and I'll hang up before I make too much noise. So you can see that it's very configurable, and I can, as I showed you, I can make my own group and add to that. So the groups are great. Now we've spoken one-to-one call, one-to-many, and again, let's talk about the scenarios. So one-to-one, maybe you're in the back of the storeroom, the customer wants a price and code or something. I could call you. I could also send a message, and if you look on the screen, there's a little message box there.
Yes.
So I'm going to choose you, your Devastator, and I'm going to choose message, and I'm going to write price and code, price and code on something, and then I want to take a photo, so I can hit that little pin, little paper clip, and choose camera and take a photo of a product. So let me grab a random product. I happen to have a product here. I don't know how much it costs because there's no tag, so I need a price and code on this particular product. So I'm taking a photo. It's the easiest way for you to understand what I need. And I've got price and code written there. I'm just going to hit send, and that should go to you. And I heard it ping, so that means you've got it. So you'll have a little message there. And if you open that message, there you go. I can see Snoopy. If you angle it, there you go. Snoopy's on the screen.
Sorry.
Get the idea. We can see it. So let me demonstrate a second scenario. So that was sending a message. I can go to a group, and I want to send a message to the whole group. So I'm going to choose all group. If you see here, all staff. This time, I can choose a template. So see, it says message template on the screen there. So yes. That means I don't have to write price and code. It's an option for me. I can just go price and code, hit it. Now the message is already there. So I'm saving myself time. Or I could choose one. This other one's another template. It's called cleanup. When I choose that, it says, please go and clean up aisle. And then the cursor's waiting for me to tell it what aisle. So the whole sentence is written. All I've got to do is write the number 6 and then hit send. And it's going to go to everyone in the group. So you saw it, and I can see it on my TC56 on the right here. And if I click on that, I missed the message. So click on the message. You get the message on the screen as well. So very, very handy and time consuming as opposed to typing out manual messages, etc. So these are just some of the things that you can configure, and you can turn this functionality on, you can turn it off. Another function, I guess you'd say, is the favorites. So you can see a little star at the bottom there. If I go to that screen now, there's no favorites because, again, every time you log in, you've got your own profile. But I can go to my contact list and just hit the stars on the side, highlight a few people, and groups. I can go to groups as well. Anyone I highlight will go to my favorite screen. So you can, if there's 100 people in your 100 associates in your company, you might just want the favorites as your easy to access. So just a couple other tabs here. There is the history, shows you exactly what's happened over time. Location, we do have locationing information, so it shows where I am and where other associates are. So lots of functionality. Another one that's probably a good use case, I know you can see this big emergency button on the screen here. With today's shortages, think about the toilet paper shortage, for example. Sometimes there's scuffles in the aisles of the grocery store, etc., and you need some help. So the quickest way is to and be discreet about it. Instead of you might not have time to type a message. You might not want to say something that's going to antagonize someone in front of you. So the easiest way is hold that button down. You hold that button down, and that will force other users to respond. And I can show, and we also have a button on the remote speaker mic as well, an emergency dedicated button too. So we've got multiple ways of instigating an emergency call. So I'll use the remote speaker mic just as an example. So you hold it down for a bit longer, so it's not as easy. You're hearing sounds, you're seeing flashing. It's an emergency, and you can't hang up. If you tried to hang up that call, you can't do it. You've got to hit those 3 dots next to where it says emergency group.
Okay. So
hit those 3 dots, and then you'll have a little option to say acknowledge. And now hit that button, acknowledge, only then can you leave the group. All right, so now you can leave. But I can cancel it. Since I created the emergency group, I can cancel it by holding down the button for a long period of time. We're out of that group. So that's the, I would say, overt way of getting attention, where, my device rang as well. We have another function which is discrete, where it doesn't make a noise. In fact, it's tied to a man down type scenario. If you can see on the top of my screen here, there's a little picture of a man. You might not see it, but just believe me, there's a man standing there, or woman, I don't know, there's a figure. And that means it's got drop detect functionality. Maybe I can show it on my device here. No,
Yes.
So anyway, so what it means is, if you drop your device or you fall over, a screen will pop up saying, "Are you okay?" And you get a countdown. And if you hit yes, I'm fine, then it will cancel it. If you don't respond in 30 seconds or however long you set that, then emergency call will go out to other members, associates. So this is a great function in today's world with with a lot of the issues. So emergency safety, health and safety is obviously very important. So I could go on. And have you got any questions before? I mean, there is one other thing I probably want to talk about, but any questions so far?
Well, I guess this is fantastic. So I can really see the simplicity of this and the functionality. So really, we're talking about a handheld computer that the staff can go around and scan items, look up price codes, but also, really communicate on the fly in a wide range of areas with each other. That's awesome. I understand as well. I think you have a task tracking feature, I believe, as well. So, like, say you mentioned that cleanup, you can assign that to somebody. Is that correct?
That's exactly what I was just about to talk about.
Oh, sorry.
that was my bit that I was going to say. So that's amazing. That's an amazing segue. So I'll show you how it works. So basically, down the bottom corner, there's 3 dots. Once you hit that, you see this little task tracker pop up, and you could probably do it on yours and play along at home, I guess. Yes. So you click those 3 dots, and then hit task tracker. Now, when you click those 3 dots and hit task tracker, you'll get, you'll see some tasks that have potentially been assigned and completed. Now, some users will get a blue circle with a plus. Yes. That means you're probably a manager and you've got some extra, I would say, responsibility and extra privileges. You can create a task. Yes, so you've hit the button. If I let's have a look at the TC56 and see if he's got that button. Oh yeah, I've given it to everybody. So I can restrict that. So some people can only receive tasks. But let's look at Grimlock again. So he wants to create a task. You just had a title. I'll just add some garbage. Doesn't matter for now. And add a description, more garbage, and then assign it to. You want to assign it to, groups or individuals. I would probably assign it to a group. Let's just say everyone in the electronics department needs to, will get this task. Now, there's an urgency. Is it a priority high, medium, or low? You can decide. I'll choose high, and you can set a time expiration, which means they've got to complete it within a certain amount of time, and the clock will be ticking. Let's choose a time, and you can even choose a day if you want to, so give them heaps of time to do it, and you click add. Now, once that gets added, hopefully something will pop up on the other devices saying you've got a task to do. You got that one? Okay, that's great. So you get that task to complete. You can accept it, or let someone else accept it. And once you've completed the task, you can type some notes, or you can end the task, or update the task. So there's a lot of functionality, but the concept is it's all done from the mobile device. So a manager's walking around and sees an issue in the appliance. Maybe the planogram's out of compliance. So he says, "Hey guys, can you please tidy up the shelving?" Send down a task to just that group, or you can send it to a wider net. And you give them a task, they will get a message to say either accepted or completed, or decline it, and others in that group will see whether you've accepted it or not. So it's a really simple way of assigning and completing tasks. And Zebra has more complex task solutions for more complex scenarios, but this is an quick and easy one that comes with PTT Pro. Basically, comes with Workforce Connect.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Excellent. And how? I guess how complex is it for a company to set all this up? So if somebody said, "Look, Dan, this is awesome. We want this in our business," are we talking, months of working out scoping and configuration, getting project managers, and then several months to run a pilot, and another few months to have a test group, and I guess what time frame are we talking about?
It sounds very familiar what you said. That is definitely a way to do it. For bigger customers, they really take it seriously. They set up long pilots and proof of concepts. They get users, super users to test a new technology, feedback. So it can take that long process, and some diligent customers will go through and take the time because they want to get it right. And especially because these devices they use their line of business apps on this device, and it's not just for communication, it's for everything. And that's one of the advantages. We're consolidating multiple devices into one. You don't need a two-way radio on one side, a mobile computer for scanning barcodes on another, and anything else. It does multiple things. So that's the beauty of it, but it also means you want to make sure it all interacts and works well together. So definitely doing a pilot is fine. On the other hand, it takes us not long at all to set it up. We can set up a sandbox pretty quickly with PTT Pro. We have a cloud portal, and everything's in the cloud. So as long as your devices have internet access, so they connect to Wi-Fi, and if they hit the internet, they can be set up really easily and activated. And we can configure all the talk groups, etc. And you can even use your MDM, like what was SODI or 42 Gears or AirWatch or whatever you use to configure these devices as well. So it can take as long or as short as you need it to. Yeah, but on our side, it really can be quite quick to set up a sandbox for testing.
Yeah, fantastic, excellent. And you mentioned the hardware as well. So push to talk is the software, and that can be installed on a customer device. If customers have their own devices, but you also supply the TC, which I now understand stands for touch computer, the TC hands.
Yes.
And you can also supply the Bluetooth hands-free units and things like that. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah. So the TC56 is probably our biggest seller to date. They sell over $1 million a year, and you'll see them at most retail stores, most transport and logistics, and there's white versions in healthcare environments as well. And you've got the same model as well. So that is really a flagship product. So really, there's so many devices out there today already. Why not take advantage of that device to do more? You're doing more with less, as opposed to saying, okay, we've got this device for one particular task. Let's spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a two-way radio solution. It's cost prohibitive. These devices are getting smarter, faster, more powerful. They're going to do more, and they're continuing to do that. And so it just makes sense to take advantage of it. It's definitely going to work on Zebra, but as I mentioned, if you have consumer devices, Apple, Android, it's going to work on them as well. So there's no real limitation. We have a dispatch client that runs on Windows, and you can run that on a Windows tablet. We have a range of different accessories. Every use case is different, and so that's a part of that proof of concept that you said is working out what works best for you. Are you going to have it holstered and never look at the screen? So you want a default talk group and just use the button, just have that and you never see the screen. Or are you going to be, scanning barcodes all the time, and you've got to make sure, it doesn't interact with your other application? There's a lot of different use cases, but we have a range of accessories, holsters, different types of headsets, Bluetooth or cabled headsets, to suit so many scenarios. And so I think it's worth taking the time to do a proper pilot, because every user is different. They get used to doing things a certain way, and especially when you're wearing things on your body. If I'm wearing a button here or something on my ear, there's more complexities as opposed to just a computer. So it's best to consult with your local Zebra, associate, and get the best solution, for your use case.
Yeah, fantastic. No, it's an awesome device. It feels really solid, but I can see how the whole solution really, I guess helps organizations, managers assign tasks, it makes communication among staff more free-flowing, closes the communication gaps in all kinds of industries, especially, as you mentioned, some stuff could be very remote, and that certainly that duress feature is, big peace of mind as well for looking after staff, particularly in remote areas or late scenarios, whatever. No, that's fantastic. So it's an awesome product. I'm really impressed.
It's really, I think in today's age, especially after the the lockdowns and pandemics, e-commerce has really gone through the roof. So, and that you think about you're buying online, picking up in store, or there's so many ways of buying these days. So you could be picking items on the shop floor for a particular order, and then a customer comes up and asks you a question, and you've got to scan a barcode or ask something, or you're busy, so you need to get someone else to help. If someone's stealing all the toilet rolls and you need help, or you want to sign a task to restock some new toilet paper rolls have come in, you want someone to stock the shelves, you can set a task. So all this software and all these tools, all under the one solution, it just makes perfect sense in today's age, in more than ever in today's age. It just seems like it makes perfect sense. You've got a mobile computer hanging off your body, make it be as useful as possible. So that's where I think Zebra's really leading the way in this type of solution.
Yeah, that's terrific. What if I put it down somewhere in the shop and then I can't remember where I find it? I'm cleaning up an aisle and it slides under one of the counter things. Is it lost forever?
No, look, we have a lot of location solutions. I mean, the Push to Talk Pro actually has that as well. So if I show you the screen, so it has GPS locationing. So for outside the four walls, but your use case was talking about inside, and we do have ways of tracking via department using internal technologies. So we can see what access point you were near last, or if we have Bluetooth locationing, we can see where you are. So this tool alone can help you get a lot of the way. We have other tools as well. We have analytics dashboards which can see last known location. We even have device tracking solutions where if you can even leave a device for 3 days and the device switches off, but we have certain options to have a Bluetooth beacon in the battery of the device. So the battery could have gone flat, but the BLE beacon is still beaconing out. So you can grab another TC56 and use it as like a Geiger counter to find that completely dead device that you've left for a week under your desk. So that's a different solution. So it depends. We've got different levels. So PTT Pro could get you there with the location function it already has. Because you can see me on the screen there. I can see my other devices. So that's an easy way to do it. There it is. And also, if you want to get more granular, or if you've got other use cases where you're leaving it for over a week, then we've got solutions for that as well.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. And I guess, if people were interested in more information, how do they reach Zebra?
Look, I would say zebra.com, the main website, is a good place to start. If you know your local associates, account management team or sales engineering team, please reach out to them. But if you don't have that connection, maybe start at zebra.com.
That's fantastic. No, thank you so much, Dan. I've really enjoyed that. It's been wonderful learning about the Zebra product, Workforce Connect software, and the PTT, and how you can really use that to maximise communications and efficiency. That's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
No, that's great. I've had a lot of fun chatting with you, David. So I appreciate the chance to chat to you. So thank you very much.
Excellent. No, thank you. So that's Dan Park, Sales Engineering Manager for ANZ for Zebra Technologies. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.